And this is why I love my wife so much. Because from the second I met my wife, there's never been any conversation about anything else other than what's best to help me get to where I want to be. She is my biggest believer, sometimes more so than I am. Like way more than I am. Like she's like, you're better than you think you are. And since I've had her in my life, there's just been that I talk to her and we go to the moon. Like we just go together.
The brother of the #1 welterweight title contender, Ian Garry, has criticized him over comments he made in a recent interview. In particular, the Irishman claimed that his parents did not support his fighting career, unlike his wife Layla, whose advice he often seeks. I'm going to tell you about all of that and much more over the next few minutes. Who exactly is Ian Garry? What is his whole deal? And why is he currently one of the most hated people in the entire fight community?
Guys, I never talk about anybody's spouses, but this shit ain't right. It ain't fucking right. I gotta talk about it. Ian Garry, I remember when I met you, dude. It was in New York. You were this fine-ass girl. She had the little nipple coverings. We all fucking seen it, right? Everybody fucking seen it. But I remember thinking to myself, there ain't something right about that girl. There's something about that woman that ain't fucking right. The way she walked, the way she looked, the way she talked, I knew it. Now I'm finding out you're 26, she's fucking 40, the ex-fucking husband lives with you, you took the last name, motherfucker, she wrote a book on how to be a wag. I didn't even know what a wag was until now, dude. This shit ain't right, dude. She's a succubus. You gotta run away, bro. Hot girls are a dime a dozen. We'll get you one, we'll get you ring girls, we'll get you two at the same time, bro. You gotta pull the ripcord, man. It ain't fucking right, my friend. You gotta pull that fucking ripcord. I'm here for you, the Making News here for you. Do the right things, Ian Garry. Fucking pull that fucking ripcord.
Was there ever a time when people treated Ian normally and without hate? That is actually a difficult question, because almost from the beginning, he constantly became the target of mockery and local hatred because of his strange decisions and questionable behavior. So get ready to experience Irish embarrassment instead of secondhand embarrassment, and trust me, it may hit your nerves even harder. Let's begin with the story that exploded near the end of 2023. At the start of November, it was revealed that Garry had been kicked out of Team Renegade. That was the gym where he trained alongside former welterweight champion Leon Edwards. The Englishman briefly explained that it did not happen without a reason.
Weird, right? I don't get it, because this is about the third gym that that's been kicked out of, right? So I don't get why now it's just such a big thing that it came to Renegade. The coach had asked him to leave. I think that makes it the reason why, right? He's make a big story of nothing. You know what I mean? Like, just, mate, you've been to the gym like 2 weeks, like, if that. Like, it's not really your gym. You've been there for 2 weeks. And then you went to another gym. You went to Gunnar gym. You went to Brazil. You went to 10 other gyms. You know, so it's like, why is it such a big deal? Just like, but like I said, I think everyone knows what it is now, and he's just looking for that back and forth.
Leon did not casually mention that the Irish contender had already changed gyms many times, and that this was supposedly normal for him. Back in 2021, Ian was kicked out of Team KF because of inappropriate behavior. According to rumors circulating at the time, Garry had already allowed fame to get to his head. He allegedly treated his sparring partners and coaches disrespectfully. In June, he won the Cage Warriors title in his division, and only 6 months later, he made his UFC debut. The fighter never hid the fact that he was a huge Conor McGregor fan. The only problem was that instead of adopting the legendary, notorious mindset, he copied the arrogance.
I feel like this is just right. Like, this is what I deserve. It's what I've earned. The hype that I've generated from being a Cage Warriors champion and all the hype I've generated on my rise to that championship is the reason I'm fighting here.
The next story completely took over social media for several days. Ian married a woman with a child who was 14 years older than him, and then took her last name. In February 2022, Garry became engaged to English television presenter Layla Machado, born in 1983, who is 14 years older than her husband. By April, his new wife had given birth to their son, who they named Leandro. Ian absolutely adores his wife and even adopted her surname, Machado. It is worth pointing out that she also took her husband's last name, so she is now Layla Machado Garry. So at least that part was completely mutual. There were rumors in the media that the surname Machado came from the television presenter's former husband. But that was not true. At the beginning of 2014, Layla married Richard Cullen, and they later had a son. However, the marriage did not last long, and the couple eventually separated. UFC journalist Megan O'Leary revealed during an interview with the fighter why Ian had adopted his wife's surname. It turned out that it was connected to Layla's son from her first marriage, Lucas. Machado was actually Layla's maiden name.
And in Brazil, when Brazilians get married, they usually take the mother and the father's name. So it's a Brazilian thing, it's a South American thing where they take the same, like they don't want to lose connections to their family.
Perfect.
So they take both names. But the truth is, I only did it because I wanted my son and my stepson to really feel connected. I didn't want them going through life with two separate surnames. I feel like there's a little bit of a disconnect. And if you guys want to be brothers, I want to make sure that you guys have that same connection. That was the main reason for me.
After the divorce, Cullen did not completely disappear from Layla's life. More than that, he also entered Ian Garry's life. And that led to a rather unusual situation. Richard began working as the Irishman's personal nutritionist. In fact, he had reportedly been working with Garry since 2021. For anyone unfamiliar with the term, a nutritionist is someone who helps a person build proper eating habits. In simple terms, a personal diet specialist. Considering Ian is a professional UFC fighter, he obviously needs one. But hiring your wife's former husband for that role is still a very strange decision. The situation became even more interesting because all three of them were rumored to be living in the same house, although Layla denied that. However, information about Cullen's employment on LinkedIn suggested otherwise. He really did work as Garry's nutritionist, although there was no official confirmation that they all lived together. But footage from the fighter's documentary suggested that Garry's wife may not have been completely honest. At one point, Ian tells Layla to go cry to her ex-husband, and then points toward a man off camera. That exact man.
All this type of stuff, and don't bring it up to me. And then it goes a little further.
Cry with Curtis then.
You cry with him. Go cry in your ex-husband's arms.
Go cry with him. Go cry in your ex-husband's arms. He said, I'll go cry with Kurt. She just said, I'll go cry with Curtis then. By the way, if you don't know, because it just gets better and better with the Ian Garry story. Her ex-husband lives with them.
And maybe you did not know that Layla Machado once wrote a book teaching women how to win over young athletes. She is not only a talented television presenter who speaks several languages, but also a modest author. The Irish fighter's wife released a book called How to Be a WAG and sold it through Amazon. The title can basically be translated as How to Become the Wife or Girlfriend of an Athlete. WAG refers to the wife or girlfriend of a famous and successful sportsman. The book cost $5 and had a rating of 2.2 out of 5. In the Reddit comments, one user gave a very short summary of the book. Be attractive. Find a guy young enough that he does not know what alimony is. Sleep with enough young athletes until you find one who is trusting enough, and never tell them your real age. Amazon users went even further and started asking whether there would be a sequel teaching readers how to make a current husband and an ex-husband live under the same roof.
For all the people out there, how many of you guys have fucked Ian Garry's wife? Oh man. Wow. I feel bad for the UFC. That's a lot of names they're going to have to put on their fight kit.
This topic was pushed heavily by media outlets around the world, not only in the West, but it is my sacred duty to tell you the truth that very few people mention. The book was not released recently. It actually came out all the way back in 2012. So Layla wrote it long before meeting Ian. Because of that, it would be unfair to claim that she used Garry as an example of how to get involved with a promising Irish UFC fighter. Although the 40-plus-year-old seductress already had plenty of preparation, and through her own life, she clearly showed that the book works. When Sean Strickland released that famous message online, Ian Garry did not react too aggressively at first. He basically just responded to the huge number of haters.
Good morning. Right. There's been a lot of shit being said online about me, my family, my personal life. All of it's fucking nuts.
But later, it was revealed that he was considering taking legal action against Sean.
Y'all will not believe what just happened. So I'm a homie, right? And I send Ian Garry a message. I'm like, bro, hey, here's the thing, man. Dicks before chicks, dude. I know you're going through some shit right now. I know that you got preyed upon. I know all this shit, bro, and I'm here for you. Just give me a call if you need me. And this mother, he says, I'm gonna sue you if you don't delete that. You're gonna sue me, mother. He said that I was lying. I ain't lying. You are 26. She is 40. She wrote a book on how to be old and be with a young athlete. I ain't lying, bro. This is factual. And Ian Garry, I don't give a about being sued. You think I give a about that? You want me to respect you. You say that I'm gonna go in the Bass Pro Shop, wherever the you go, I'm gonna go buy a 9. I'm gonna handle this like a man. I would have respected that. I don't respect that. But hey, I can expect nothing else.
So now you can probably understand where all this hatred comes from and why Ian receives so much of it. But that is still not everything. At one point, the Irishman also received a major wave of backlash for insulting Neil Magny during the UFC 292 press conference. The issue was not that Magny is some innocent saint, an untouchable figure, or that saying bad things about him is haram. That was not the point. The real issue was how dramatically Gary's behavior had changed. You probably will not be surprised to learn that Layla became her husband's manager after they got married and began learning the basics of the fight business. Apparently, the television presenter took that work very seriously, because in less than a year, Ian transformed from a quiet young man into a deeply unpleasant character. The peak of Gary's outrageous behavior came in August 2023 through his comments toward the veteran. Ian suddenly attacked the usually calm Magny, who had said in an interview that he supposedly hit his children. Neil later explained that it was simply an expression and had nothing to do with reality.
No. Neil's not answering the question. He's gonna sit there and he's gonna be f***ing quiet. Nobody, there is no f***ing right to ever put your hand on a kid. Ever. Discipline anything.
That's for one?
Bro,
like, what are
you took this fight in 7 days
like, what
notice.
are you talking about?
I got a long, lanky orthodox. I'm gonna whoop your f***ing ass.
You won't do a damn thing.
Shut the f*** up. Neil is slow, he's getting older, he's sloppy, he makes a lot of mistakes. I'm a new generation of fighters coming up in this division. You see all the new youth in this division.
But Garry could no longer be stopped. The Irishman screamed at his opponent, demanded that he shut up, and constantly interrupted poor Neil. Inside the octagon, Ian destroyed the veteran and won all 3 rounds by a huge margin. And even after the fight, for some reason, he continued making obscene gestures toward him. Honestly, it is difficult to explain that level of aggression toward Magny. Most likely, Layla wanted to increase her husband's media profile and chose a questionable strategy, verbally attacking opponents. That was how the future contender went from a smiling and humble Irish kid to one of the most hated UFC fighters after a single event. And now, we get to the final story for today. This is the one I indirectly mentioned at the beginning of the episode when I showed you a clip from Ian Garry's recent major interview.
And if I go to my mom and my dad and I have this conversation, then manipulation can happen. And I didn't want anybody else's thoughts, opinions, or ideas to make my mind up for me. So I didn't tell her. I rang my uncle on the way home from doing it. I said, listen, do not tell my mom. Keep this between me and you. I'm going to figure out when is the right time to tell her. But I need a job because there's no way I can just be sat at home. They'll kill me.
A few days later, Ian's brother Sean released a long statement. Ian, you are not a victim. You act like we were beaten as children. We grew up in a middle-class family and had everything a child could possibly need. You are the kind of person who takes money from his parents and never pays it back. I think there is a word for that. Spoiled. Yeah, poor you. Your college education was also paid for, and mom worried about you. Everyone traveled around the world supporting you and your boxing career, and after all that, you claim your parents never supported you? Dad personally took care of your boxing career the entire time, even while he was unwell and suffering from chronic pain. Do me a favor and explain that, Ian. We attended every one of your fights and always believed you would succeed. But now you are saying that Layla, who only met you a few fights before the UFC, was supposedly the only person who believed in you? You are an avoidant person, just like me. But unlike you, I have grown emotionally. You hide from negativity because you cannot handle the real consequences of your own actions. Missing your own grandfather's funeral. Is that what you call being a man? You did not even send a message, mate. Do me a favor, Ian. I stayed silent about your situation for so long because I still felt sorry for you. But if you even think about repeating this nonsense again, I will tell the entire truth. I promise. And that does not even include his comments claiming that if women were in charge of everything connected to how our reality is organized, we would live in the best possible world. That statement triggered another massive wave of reactions across the internet, in the form of clips, breakdowns, comments, and another huge amount of concentrated hatred. So this is how Ian Garry dreamed of becoming McGregor 2.0 for the fight world. But so far, he has not revealed himself as a fighter with elite skills and championship potential. Instead, he has become a meme character. Fans hate Ian, mock him, and make jokes about him and his family. Personally, I think he desperately needs to direct this hype train in the right direction, because in the end, what difference does it make how people feel about you? The only thing that matters is whether the public is waiting to watch your fights. Isn't that right? Hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and leave your opinion in the comments. See you soon.